Welcome back, everybody, to the Three Idiots Talking podcast. We are here to review another brand new album that has just come out. This came out today. It is called Harlequin by Lady Gaga. Now, there is a slight caveat with this album. This is a companion album, also known as this happens to be also known as a soundtrack album for the new Joker movie coming out, I guess, next week. I'm not entirely sure what day it's coming out, but I think it's coming out next week.
It is the 4th.
Okay, so yeah, next week it's coming out called Joker. There's a Filet Adieu. Basically just means Joker 2. You guys all saw Joker. I know Cole and I did, but did you see Joker? Yeah. Noah? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this one's going to be a musical. And so that's why there's a companion album soundtrack that is being made by one of the stars of Joker 2, Lady Gaga. And you guys can see the album cover. Actually, kind of a cool album cover. A little bit split down the middle here with the face. I like it. I think it's a cool album cover.
It's a great depiction of the music on the album. It doesn't go together at all.
So normally we would listen along. Whoops, did not mean to click that. Normally we would be listening along for this particular album, but we have actually already listened to this. All of us have, and we are just going to sort of give a rundown of our thoughts and opinions, give a review of the album itself, and explain what we think about it. And so if you guys haven't heard it, go listen to it for yourselves. It's a musical album for the most part. But before we delve into more in depth, because I know Noah has a breakdown of each song he'd like to go over, before we delve into that, overall first thoughts that you guys had after listening to it today. Cole, we'll start with you.
I fucking hated this. I despise this.
Not pulling any punches.
Maybe the worst album I've heard this year. Between like this and the Imagine Dragons album.
Good lord.
Bloom, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Now let me state for the record.
Yeah.
Let me state for the record. This has nothing to do with Lady Gaga.
Yes, that's a good point.
This is not her fault that this album sucks. If anything, the best thing obviously I can tell that she is a capable singer, that she is not a bad singer. I'm not knocking the vocal, at least the vocal tone of her singing on this album.
And sorry to not cut you off. Actually, while we're doing this, I think I'll play the album in the background just so people can have something to hear. But go ahead.
Torture everybody else.
I'll have let the listeners have something to hear.
The entirety of my problems with this album stem completely from the style and the genre of music that is being put on display here. This album is essentially, I don't know what a lot of the songs are covers. I don't know if they're all covers. I don't know.
I think there are two that are not covers.
A great deal of this, if not all of this, is covers. And they're basically just covers of jazz songs from like Broadway musicals, from obviously theater and old theater movies. And boy, it is just like my least favorite genre of music that exists. Musical theater is the fakest, most emotionless, most corny piece of shit genre of music that I've ever heard in my life, and that is the entirety of the sound of this album.
But tell us how you really feel.
Lady Gaga, I can basically just say, she doesn't make these songs worse than they already are to me. She just doesn't help them. But yeah, every song on here, I cannot handle. To me, for whatever reason, every time I listen to musical theater or Broadway shows or whatever, just musicals in general, I cannot help but feel that it is just the corniest shit I've ever heard in my life. I hate their lyricism. I certainly hate the style of songwriting. I cannot stand the melodies that they pick. Everything about it is just the opposite of what I want music to sound like. And everything about these songs specifically, because these are more jazz-based songs, it is like the complete opposite of what I want from jazz music. I cannot stress enough how fake this sounds to me. It's completely void of any real human emotion to me. Yeah, I despise this. The production was fine, I guess. I suppose it was mixed well. But I mean, that's mainly just due to the fact that Lady Gaga can spend whatever she wants because she's huge. And again, I'm really not even trying to knock Lady Gaga. I'm just knocking these songs. I mean, the only thing I would knock her for is like, why did you want to do this?
Well,
But I
she's
get
in
that
a
this is a
movie,
huge
so-
genre of I get that this is a huge genre of music that a lot of people love. I have no idea why they love it. I cannot stand this style of
Holy
music.
shit. Tarny Valencia, is that you in the chat? What's up? Lady Gaga making jazz music. She, not kinda, musical jazz, I guess you could call it. Sorry, Cole, I didn't mean to interrupt. I noticed he was in the chat. Keep going.
And yeah, for all those reasons, I'm feeling like a 0.5 to a 1 on this album. It's just like the complete opposite of what I want in every way. It's just
That
like,
is
despise.
really low. I think you give the Imagine Dragons a 2 as a whole.
I was cringing to death listening to this album.
Fucking hell. That's brutal. Okay.
Hated it.
So I we've been good, Tarny. I will say this. I don't hate musical theater as much as Cole does, or Noah does here. I don't think it's that terrible, as you guys say, but there are moments in every single song, and you guys can hear it on the stream and on the channel afterwards. There are moments in every single song where I'm like, you guys just are going too hard on the type of instrumental that's meant to make people feel good about themselves. It's like trying to get energy that doesn't exist and fake lyrics type of thing. And I actually thought, you mentioned Lady Gaga, you know, is not her fault. I actually thought she was good in this. I thought she was really good in this. I've heard her albums. I haven't heard a full album by her, but I've heard her songs the past decade. I mean, who hasn't? And I think that overall, she sounded way better than I had heard her in the last, you know, her big popular songs that she was out. So I'll give her credit for making me at least interested in some of these songs, because there's a lot of these songs that I'm like, I've heard all these things before. I mean, the Sinatra cover, "Oh When the Saints Come Marching In" is extremely popular. Get Happy, obviously. In fact, the first 5 to 6 songs are all just covers of very popular, like Cole said, old music. And then she ends up with That's Life and Happy Mistake, and all those songs are covers, but of very popular songs. But their sound, not usually when you hear covers, it's because the cover a cover is not nearly as good as the original, right? If it's a good song. I think she makes it sound better, except for the Sinatra one. It's hard to make Sinatra sound better, to be fair. Can you explain what this album is about? Like, is it a concept album about the new movie, or did she make the soundtrack or something? So it's a companion album as a I guess as a soundtrack. I mean, it's going to be part of the soundtrack of the movie. But yeah, it's just a companion album. It's meant to be you know, she plays the part of Harley Quinn in the movie, so she's exploring Harley Quinn's personality in this album, essentially. But yeah, back to what I was saying, it's just like, I think it's I don't hate musical theater as much as you two do. I don't like it, but I don't hate it. I think there's better. There is some very listenable solo songs on this. "Oh When the Saints Come Marching In" is a good song. There's nothing wrong about that song whatsoever.
I don't like the original.
Nothing.
I don't
No,
like the
no,
original
no,
versions
no,
of
no,
any
no.
of these songs.
The Sinatra song is a good song. There is nothing
the
wrong
Sinatra
about it.
song.
I think it's the
I don't really like.
Isn't it Good Morning?
A lot of this.
No, it's the final song.
No.
Oh, okay, That's Life. That's it. Yeah, That's Life. That's Life is a good song. Sinatra
Not
nails
The
it.
original.
I hate the instrumental.
No,
That's
no, the
like-
original is a good song too. This one
No.
is a good song. I can
I can get behind some Sinatra songs. I mean, I think "My Way" is one of the best songs I've ever heard, but not "That's Life." "That's Life" is corny as corny.
No. Because it's actually like a nice, like, the lyrics are basically saying, hey, I mean, it's what the title is. Sometimes shit happens. That's life. You just deal with it and move on. Like, it doesn't really fit with the movie or the theme of this album, but it actually is like it's a good song. It's got good lyrics and it's got an energetic instrumental.
I don't like how the song That's Life is written melodically.
Cole, Tarney would like to ask what your disdain for the hatred of your disdain for it is. I don't think she caught your original few
Disdain
minutes.
for what?
The style of the album.
I've never
cut
heard
this
a
out
gen-
if you don't.
I
Sorry,
have
go ahead.
never heard a. Speaking to musical theater, I've never heard a genre of music that I thought was cornier, sounded more fake, sounded just completely devoid of any real human emotion. And I cannot help. I've tried so many times to just not be able to cringe to death while watching or listening to any musical theater or any like movie that's a musical, and I can't do it. It's physically nauseating for me to watch or listen to musicals because it's so unbelievably fake.
There you go. And hey, Tarney, That's Life is not corny. Cole is not right about that. All right, That's Life is a good fucking song. Both versions of it. All right.
Only the first one.
And I will say, Cole gave a sum up rating of this, so I'll give a sum up rating of it. Overall, I really didn't have a huge issue with it. The songs did start blending together, and it all was like, okay, this is not changing a whole lot. And so there's points deducted from that. And she sounds good. I mean, there's no argument for me with that. I thought she sounded good. I'll give this a solid 6 out of 10. I have really no major issue with this album. There are far worse that have come out this year. Future's mixtape was awful.
It was.
And that shit was far worse than this
It
album.
was boring. It didn't offend me like this offended me.
All right,
This one,
Noah.
like, made me unhappy to
This
listen to.
fundamentally offended me.
Let's hear your sum up. What do you have? Because I know you wanted to go down song by song. You had notes.
Yeah. Well, I'll sum it up a bit more. Don't know why they wanted to fuck up a completely fine genre in swing music. They were all over swing on this thing. Don't know why.
Like swing.
I don't like swing when it's like modernized and produced like shit. The horns sounded pretty fucking awful on this thing, guys. First song, Good Morning, was like I'd do like a 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I had no issue with Gaga on any of the songs.
I think Good Morning is a much better song than you guys are giving it credit for.
Like, I like Gaga. I enjoy a good bit of her first album. She is a solid vocalist.
She's got some bad songs. Like Bad Romance is a bad song.
Fuck you. I'll continue. I enjoy that
Wow.
song.
Okay.
I felt the same way about the second song. That was also a 4. Since Go Marching In. The drums on this album sounded so fucking stiff.
They sound
It's
loud,
fake.
which I thought was good production, you know? They sound big and in your
Just
face.
loud doesn't equal good, you know?
I never said that, but like you often sometimes can't hear drums on these type of, albums. But
Yeah, but if we can at least, make them sound good.
okay. Well, Cole said the production was good. He thought, for the most part.
I thought it was fine.
So,
Yeah, it was pretty soulless. I was feeling a 4.
okay.
World on a String was another Sinatra cover.
So there's 2. Okay.
Way too much reverb used on this thing. A lot of the keyboard and organ tones on this album fucking blew. But that's probably the best song, second best song on the album. I'd give that a 5.5.
What? World on a String?
Yes. If my friends could see me now. I thought her vocals on the song was pretty weak. They're just taking like very iconic and important genres of music and just completely fucking nuking it. Like,
Well, that's not necessarily true. I mean, I think the jazz elements here work. I think if they're outside the musical theater part of it, it would be better.
It's poisoning jazz music.
I agree. So if my
Miles
friends
Davis
see me
came
now,
along and saved the genre.
I'm feeling a
honestly.
3.
A 3 on If My Friends Could See Me Now?
Oh god, that song was fucking
I'll
awful.
admit, that is one of the weaker ones for sure.
That's entertainment.
Oh,
That's when I started getting really fucking
The
tired
middle of
this
this is
album.
rough, especially when you get to like the Smile and the Joker, which
'Cause
are
it was very
clearly
similar instrumentals to these swing Showtime instrumentals that I fucking hate. It was just, it's too much for me. It's way too campy. This entire album's too campy.
That's a great word for just
Campy?
musical theater. It's just
Yeah.
like camp shoved
Like,
down your throat.
When do you
Oh.
listen to this? When do you listen to this?
I think it's one of the like albums where you add certain songs, and if it pops up on shuffle, you're not gonna skip it. Cole would because he's extremely.
yeah, I
he only
would.
listens to
Never,
tens apparently.
never.
Yeah, what I'm feeling a
Never.
2 on that one.
Oh, that's.
Yeah,
I
playlist.
mean, Tarney's right. You guys are being a bit harsh considering some of the stuff that is coming out right now. I gotta give her a point. There are some bad things coming out right now.
I'd rather listen to Imagine Dragons than any musical theater.
That's crazy.
I don't care. It's
That's
the worst
crazy.
thing. It's like anti-music. I don't
So
even
you-
really consider it art, honestly.
So, for example, you would listen to Bones, like some yeah.
I'd rather listen. I'd rather listen to that than watch like Les Miserables. Yeah.
That is a big statement from you.
All right.
Nice.
Sorry, Noah. Keep going.
Yeah, Smile.
Yeah. I think these
I-
next three were all originals. I think.
Yeah. I just couldn't imagine anyone choosing this song out of the thousands of other songs where people do this the same exact way, but better and more authentic. Like, it's disappointing. For the Joker,
That one.
this
was
one,
bad.
this one hurt me.
Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad.
This is
I'll
like one of the
admit that.
times that they went for a more modern sound, and they made this. It's brutal. It's overdramatic. The guitar sounds like shit. Kill me. One.
Kill you. Oh my god. Not dramatic at all from you though. At all.
And then Fully Ado. I wrote a little quote of what I imagined they were thinking. It said, "Hey guys, how can we make this more cringe? What about a waltz? How about we make a song of a fucking waltz?" This album's just checking off every box of what makes fucking theater music blow.
Well, I'm sure parts of especially the original songs, because these were originals, have to do with what's happening in the movie at the time.
Yeah, they're
So-
fully immersing you into
Yeah.
the theme of the Joker by making you go insane by listening to this. It was really
but
good.
I'm sure if there's a waltz in the song, there's probably a waltz playing in the scene at that point. So
Brutal.
That
1.5.
waltzes are good.
I didn't say it was. I'm
I
just.
find them boring.
That's probably the reason.
Gonna Build a Mountain. Could have predicted everything that happened on that song, like within the first 5 seconds. That was just wasn't good at all. Let me read what I wrote. I was hoping really hard my brain would just have an aneurysm. That was a good old statement. Feeling 2 on that one.
Wow.
Close to You. It was okay. I mean, they didn't theater kid it up too hard, and she's a good singer, so that's like a 4. Happy Mistake. Did not need to be 4 minutes long because it was
Agreed. That one's
pretty
too
fucking
long.
boring.
That one's too long, but it does have a good what do you call it?
I think I know you're about to say, and I think the vocal hook was not good enough to be repeated as many times as it was.
I'll stand by that statement more than anything else you really said.
And then That's Life. They took the best parts of the original and just shat all over it. Percussion was really weak on like some big hits of the original. The backing vocals, like when they would just mime or echo her saying "That's Life," are like objectively not very good sounding. It's just brutal compared to the original. Like the least they could have done was take some artistic liberties with it, but they just kind of took the original and made it worse without being unique.
Yeah, I don't really understand the point of doing it.
I disagree with the last life one. I entirely disagree with that.
So I'm feeling a 2 on that.
No.
I don't really understand the point of doing a cover if you're not gonna change anything. Why wouldn't I just listen to the original?
Well, because it's sung by a different human, which is singing it entirely. I mean, not entirely differently. It's still got the same. I guess it's the same tone that he.
But are
was
you
singing,
that
but-
uncreative that you can't like do anything to it?
Yeah, it's disappointing.
I don't know.
I've never heard a great cover song that was just a different person singing the song. You might have a good vocal performance, but like, what's the point?
And then,
I disagree. I think you can have a cover without having to change a whole lot. But sorry, Noah, go ahead.
The final statement I had was, yeah, don't listen to this unless for some reason you decide to see the movie. Not very fun. 2.5 out of 10. It wasn't very good.
I think you guys are being overly brutal to this. I'm not gonna lie. So, all right, let me take it. All right, so I gave it a 6, which clearly Cole disagrees with. Cole gave it.
I mean, if you like
a
musical
1.
theater, I would understand why you like this album.
I don't.
Musical theater is literally
Not
the
that
worst
much.
genre of music I've ever heard in my life.
So if I'm correct, I gave it a 6. Cole, you gave it a 1,
Yeah.
and Noah, you gave it a 2.5, right?
Yep.
It's best day. It's a 1.
Okay. So here's the issue I have with you guys' final ratings here, is that I think you guys are judging this so much off of based of just the genre of music when there's a more I think for at least this and how I view it, if you judge these songs on each one as a solo piece of work and not as an album, because this is not really it's an album, yes, but it's not really an album that's meant to be like, oh, you listen to it straight through because all the songs are supposed to fit together as an album. They're really just individual pieces of music trying to fit into a movie. And so I judge it like that, and as an individual song, I don't think as a whole it's that bad. But I guess if you have to put it together, I would still give it a 6 out of 10.
But I hate all the individual parts. I hate all of them. I hate everything about all of them, except the vocal tone is fine. I don't know what you like. I don't know what you want. You put on any of these songs by themselves, I'm still gonna hate them because it still sounds like a musical.
I mean, some of them, yeah, like Good Morning and Get Happy are definitely a bit more
They're
cringe.
all written in the style of like Broadway music.
But then, like, Happy Mistake is perfectly fine. It's mainly just Lady Gaga giving her a vocal performance, like belting out, you know, her using her vocals and lyrics. There's not a whole lot of instrumental.
It's the way she's singing.
I guess. All right. So that's Harley Quinn. Final thoughts. I know you guys kind of summed it up already. What are your? Give me a 1 sentence final thought of this album, Noah.
No.
No.
Yep, that's it.
1 word. All right, Cole.
It's just everything I don't want it to be.
I'll say I was expecting it to be worse, and I think Lady Gaga, if she actually puts out some solo music after this, has some. I like her voice and I like her vocal tone on this album, and I think if she makes her, you know, obviously her own album after this, I'd be inclined to listen to it and give it a go. But I think a lot of people are I think you two are overhating it overall, as you're listening to it as more of an album and not just individual songs, like I said, because I think that's how this album was made. Because it's a soundtrack album, it's a companion album. It's not meant to be everything's like, oh, meant to be listened to it in order or anything.
But
there's no common theme except musical theater.
Which is the problem. That's the whole problem. That's every single that's the only problem. That's everything that I hate. So I don't know how isolating songs is going to change that, because they're still musical theater songs, and I still hate them for that.
I guess. All right. Well, that's our review of Lady Gaga's new album, Harley Quinn. If you guys like this type of style that we do, for those who might be brand new listeners or viewers, not me to make my webcam shake that much, hit subscribe, hit the bell. We do these often on live stream, and we give our reviews and reactions. Normally we do this while listening to the song, but this one we wanted to kind of give you guys a sum up overall, because it's a bit of a longer album, and it's not a genre these two tend to enjoy, so they didn't really want to do it live and be brutal.
I didn't know
on
what
it.
this was before I listened to it.
It's fair. Overall, follow us on Twitter, follow us on TikTok. All the socials are down below. Thank you guys who came out in the live stream. Thank you guys who watched on YouTube. We will see you guys in the next stream and the next video.